How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to the Fumble Live. I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as @DevinHoward. It didn't work, you guys.
Man.
We tried.
Yeah.
I'm Devin Howard. You can find me on Instagram as
@DevinHoward. All right, we're just in, it's Friday.
Pause.
Friday. Right.
You done now, Devin? You done?
That's crazy. It didn't work for you. It always works for me. I'm so sorry. No, right? It's my fault. But I'm Jackie Ray. I'm Jackie Ray. You can find me on all things social media at JRay the Fanatic. I did not set up Devin. Please do not start in the chat.
I was going to say.
I'm just hoping you're starting stuff.
I know, right?
I'm Britt Johnson. You all can follow me on all social media at I am Britt Johnson.
Hey, it's your boy Chris. Follow me everywhere at CK2K.
Okay. Sorry about that in the beginning. I thought I had it muted. I'm struggling with YouTube right now, you guys. But, Britt, you have some info you want to share about the XFL.
That's very, very sad news. So on Friday, the XFL basically fired all of their employees. I know everybody's kind of been doing some pushbacks and stuff right now, but this one's kind of crazy because as of right now, they actually have no plans to move forward for a 2021 season. They started this season. They played 5 games. It was going really well. I went to the LA Wildcats home opener. It was amazing. There was more fans there than that go to the Chargers game. So I was like, oh, this is looking up. They had lines down the block of people trying to buy the merchandise. All the merch sold out. Everybody was super excited. And even watching on TV, people have been watching it every weekend and stuff. So it was doing really well. And then obviously this whole pandemic happened. So they had to pause their season. But I'm really surprised that they haven't made plans to do anything for 2021. Are they again just done? They're just going to be over with it? Or what do you guys think is going to happen here?
I don't know. I mean, I definitely was excited. I was enjoying watching the games. It definitely was going. It looked great. And I think a lot of us, especially as sports fans, wanted to see, some guys that maybe couldn't make the NFL have this opportunity. So to hear that, and it's happening to a lot of people, so I wasn't over the top surprised, but the no plan for the future part is what's scary and makes me nervous. I'm how is there no plan? I don't understand it. It's weird to me.
Yeah, because for me, it was putting me on players that were either once in the NFL and then getting a second chance and playing well, and then getting call-ups and then getting other players. And for me, my favorite player that I was watching in the XFL was Durant, who from I think it was the Battlehawks was the name of their team, and players I would not have looked at before. And now he got signed by the Chiefs, and other players getting signed by NFL teams. It was looking like it was gonna be a dope situation, the back and forth between the NFL, XFL, and stuff like that would have been pretty cool. But we'll see, man. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm just hoping they, especially when you had such a successful first 5 games of your season, even people going to games and watching on TV. I just really hope maybe they're just because they're just listen, we just gotta go back to the drawing board, or everyone just pause right now because there's nothing we can do right now. Is what I'm hoping what they're doing, and obviously that's what we said Adam Silver and everybody should do. Everyone just chill out right now. Don't rush into doing anything. So maybe they are just doing it that way. And we will see it again in 2021 is what I'm hoping. But
yeah, me too.
Well, I'm nervous because I already got my merch. So merch somewhere.
All right, you guys, I'm going to jump into our first news story of the day today. It's all about Rudy Gobert and Donovan Mitchell. So obviously we know that they were the first 2 NBA athletes to be diagnosed with coronavirus. Rudy had some negative backlash after he received his positive test result because we saw those videos of him touching all the microphones at the press conference, and it was reported that he'd been mocking the situation and touching the other athletes' belongings in the locker room. So then now, when we learned that he actually did test positive for coronavirus, it kind of caused a lot of people to point fingers at him, especially after Donovan Mitchell also received that positive test result. But now we've learned that Donovan is reluctant to even mend his relationship with Rudy. The Athletic reported that some of the teammates view their bond as no longer salvageable, which is crazy. Donovan Donovan was on Good Morning America last month, and he said that he was not happy with how things all went down. He said that Rudy had been carelessly mocking the situation, despite the Jazz taking time to educate the staff and the employees, the athletes, on how to stay safe with the outbreak happening. I do want to point out that we don't know who gave it to who. Donovan could have been the one who passed it on to Rudy. There's no way of knowing who was the first person to have it. So it's a little bit interesting to me that their relationship has gotten so broken over this. But Donovan certainly feels resentful about the way Rudy was acting, and the team is worried that they won't be able to bond again and work together again. So my question for you guys, Chris, I'm going to start with you. How do you think this will impact the team as a whole?
That's a great question. I feel like, the team is going to have to do whatever it takes to please Donovan, which is really sad because I feel like this is petty. But at the same time, I get both sides. I understand because we don't know who gave it to who, so he's probably in his feelings thinking that because Rudy, as he said behind the scenes, wasn't really taking it serious, that it most likely came from him. But you don't know. Maybe you're the one to pass on because you're the one that's asymptomatic, and maybe he was somebody that was more susceptible to it, which is why he got sick. So I don't know. But as far as to answer your question with the team, I feel like if there is no peace made between the two players, then Rudy Gobert going to be playing for another team. That's really the only result I can see coming from this, because it's one of those situations where they're going to try to make their star happy. And it's to me, it's petty and it'd be unfortunate, but I don't know. I hope it's not that big right now or at some point.
That was actually my next question. I was going to ask you, Britt, if you think a trade could happen because of the trust between those two players being broken. What do you think?
I think it's, first of all, very interesting to say that it's not a salvageable, relationship when they haven't seen each other yet. Obviously, when you don't see somebody and you haven't been able to be around them, you're going to be quick to be like, well, I ain't never talking to that person again. And then you see them like, oh, look at my friend over there. I miss my friend, so they haven't seen each other at all or been in contact with each other at all since that moment. So, of course, it's going to be a point where you think I'm not going to talk to this person anymore. But when you have to see them at practice every day, that'll change very quickly. Same thing that happened with Swaggy P and what's his face?
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell. At some point you just got to get over it. And that situation to me was worse than this situation because, again, we don't know who gave who what in this situation. And I think it's very interesting because both of them are actually free agents in 2021. So I kind of go back and forth on who, because I think both of them are star players. Obviously, Rudy's been up for Defensive Player of the Year a couple times, he's a great player. And I think his position to play well at is actually more difficult to find in the league than finding another Donovan Mitchell, personally. So I think it's something interesting to see how they would see who is actually the more irreplaceable guy to keep if they had to get to a point where they had to either trade somebody or after this, see if they played together this year, and if it doesn't work out, then, in free agency offer one a deal and the other one not a deal. But I don't know. I don't see that Donovan Mitchell is necessarily the guy that they would actually end up keeping in the long run, which I don't know. But I would say they're at least going to give them the season for next year to figure it out. And if maybe they still haven't mended their ties or whatever issues, then maybe they talk about that at a different time. But I don't know that that's Donovan Mitchell that's going to stay and Rudy leaving.
Well, so my next question, Jackie, for you is, do you feel that Donovan is justified in holding this grudge against Rudy? Is he taking it too far? What are your thoughts on that?
No, he's definitely not justified. I think it's extremely petty. I mean, especially when you look at us as a country and how many of us are still not taking it seriously. And even when Rudy was making the joke, everyone laughed. It wasn't like it was a joke that didn't land. It landed. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
because it wasn't that serious at that time.
Exactly.
For everybody.
Exactly. Yeah. And I think all of us, and our fearless leader, or weird leader, whatever you want to call him, he was telling everybody, just wash your hands. It's just like the flu. So if that's coming down from the top, you really can't be so naive to think that people are going to listen. You know what I mean? Right. So, and not take it that seriously. So I think that for me, I would definitely not want this to be true. I would definitely want this to be some he said, she said, and Donovan is going to tweet later today like, I never said that. I haven't even talked to Rudy. It's possible that we can work this out because I just don't see him being that petty. He might be, but I just don't see it.
He is a little petty. You remember the rookie van.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I forgot the rookie van. Yeah. I take it back. This might be true. I forgot all about that.
I feel like Rudy kind of made up for his actions when he tweeted out or posted, I think it was on Instagram, his apology and how he said he was embarrassed by his actions before. So I do also think it would be...
He let us follow through. I mean, he's the one who had the most severe symptoms. You know, Donovan didn't. He let us follow him through that, and he was the one to say, look, I'm losing taste. I'm going through it, y'all. Take this seriously. Yeah. He could have literally just suffered in silence because he was embarrassed of what he had done, but he didn't. He wanted to raise awareness. So I think if Donovan can't see that, I'm with Britt. I would personally see that as a level of immaturity on his point, and I would let him go, personally.
A lot of people...
Because when I said my point, Chris, you did a
So no, because you're right. I mean, if we're going by the person, sure, I got that. But to me, if you're going player in basketball, strictly basketball, that's a hard one for me, man. I can find another big man out there. Donovan Mitchell is showing that he could be a leader, you know. So that's hard for me. But
leaders aren't petty. Leaders are not petty.
Russell Westbrook, hello? What you mean?
That's a Russell Petty that I allow.
Oh, so he is all right, bet.
I would call Russell Westbrook, yes, he's a great player. I wouldn't necessarily say he leads teams very well, though. Right. I wouldn't say that.
He look at these hot takes on the Fumble. Leads beef. Okay, fair.
He's the best guy on most teams that he'll probably ever be on, but I don't really call him a leader. You know, leaders create more leaders. They don't create followers. People just follow Westbrook, so... Oh, no.
I would follow Westbrook into a fire because that would just be a fantastic and hilarious fire. Everybody getting slapped on the way. I would do it.
That is a Jackie take, ladies and gentlemen.
Right.
One thing that I do want to say, in the chat, I see a lot of people saying that they also think Donovan Mitchell should be packing his bags and leaving. So it seems like people share the same sentiments that you all do. I'm going to jump into our next topic. Kevin Durant. So he thinks that more former players need to be in front offices. He made this announcement as the Chicago Bulls are working to revamp their front office. And today a report started circulating saying that a former Bulls player, Nazim Mohammed, could take on a job in the Bulls front office, which inspired KD to tweet, more former players in the front offices. We've seen this and we've talked about this before, how a lot of the GMs and the VPs are men who have never actually played basketball at a professional level or even at a high level. So, you know, I think that can cause some issues because players, I think, want to be led by people who have been there before and who know what it's like. And this kind of is building on what we were talking about yesterday with KG and how he was expecting that front office or ownership role with the Wolves, and that didn't happen. That all fell through. So I'm curious what you all think. Jackie, do you think Kevin Durant is right? Should more former players be in front offices?
I absolutely agree. I don't think it's just basketball. I think that no matter what job you have, you know, the worst thing, all of us have had a regular job, at least I have. I've had when I was working in property management, and you would have that one boss that would come down who never, ever actually worked on site and is telling you how to run an on-site thing. And then I would have to try to not cuss this person out because you have no idea what it's like. And there's nuances to everything, you know. As much as we love people watching us, someone who watches us can't really tell us how to do this job because it's different when you're actually doing it. And I think it's the same with the players. They go through things that if you've never actually played, even on the college level or like if you've never played, you don't understand some of the things they go through. You don't understand why Russell's freaking out because a fan is getting too close or saying inappropriate things because you've never been in that situation. So in order to lead the situation, I think you have to understand the situation. And I don't think you can understand the situation if you've never been in the situation. So I think it's a good idea all around.
Yeah. Well, Chris, can you see Kevin Durant taking on a GM or VP type role when he retires?
Oh, boy. Oh, man. I can see him. You know what? Look, right. I can see him being an owner before I can see him being in a GM or working in the front office. To me, I don't know if that's the spot for KD because I feel like. You know what? I'm gonna keep that to my. I think he would be. I think with all the outside stuff he's doing, I think he'll get to the point where probably LeBron might do the same thing. Where he might get some money where he'll probably be part of an ownership group. But I don't know if I would say a front office.
Wait, say
why? Why? Yeah, I want to know.
I don't think. Look, I'm all for players coming in and being in the front. I 100% agree with KD's take, but I don't believe every player is a GM. I don't believe every player has that aspect to be a GM. I mean, look at the GOAT. I mean, he's doing fantastic. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I feel like KD would be one of those guys where he would be good at controlling the overall of a team rather than controlling who plays for the team and who should do this. I don't know if I want KD as that spot. I just don't think he'd be a guy that would build a team together. Just look at his career as one. I mean, he's been a dude, and there's nothing against it. Like at the time, it was bad, of course, and probably still a lot of people still think he's a snake for what he did. And I'm probably still on that list too. But at the same time, his entire career was about, KD compared to like a LeBron where, LeBron, except for Carmelo Anthony, when LeBron goes to a place, he's trying to get his guys or try to get dudes that he knows and stuff like that to get jobs and stuff like that or build these teams and stuff like that. I just don't know if KD's the kind of guy that could put a team together. That's just how I feel about it personally.
But I have the same question for you. Do you think that he would be good in that type of role? Would he even take that kind of role?
I don't think he would be good, and I actually completely disagree with more athletes in those types of positions because I'm sick of this small group of people that continue to take all the money in the whole entire world. All the athletes are on as commentators now. All the athletes are taking all the reporting jobs. All the athletes are taking the coaching and front office jobs. Spread it around because there are people that actually go to school for certain business things and they're actually better at that job. But it's like, oh, we have to have the face of somebody who's super famous. And we saw it with Magic Johnson. That don't always work out. Just because people are great at playing basketball or doing something that doesn't mean they're great at putting teams together. Michael Jordan obviously is one of those as well. He owns a team and he's literally, you would think people would be like, I want to play on Michael Jordan's team because they want to do everything else like Mike. But nobody wants to play on his team, Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily believe that. Obviously, I would like to see more black faces in those positions because a league that is 75-80% African American and the ownership and the front office people are all a bunch of old white guys. That to me doesn't make sense. So I would like to see more black people in a business that is predominantly black, as far as the players are concerned and getting more black owners and all that kind of stuff. We have, Usher as part owner for the Cavs and then Michael Jordan and stuff. But other than that, we don't really have a ton of black owners in the league or even black head coaches for that matter. And so obviously NBA is a lot better than the NFL is, obviously. But just I think across the board, I don't really need to see players continue to make all the money. Spread it around because there are people that some of the best coaches of all time never played football or basketball. Some of the greatest GMs of all time never was a coach or whatever the case is. They are really Jerry Jones was really good at putting together the biggest trade in football history with the Herschel Walker trade to get Emmitt Smith and stuff. So I don't necessarily believe that just because you're a player that transitions into you being great at everything else. I just think you were a player and that was your, thing to the business. Yes, a few I think are excellent at doing something else in the sports world as far as front office is concerned. But really, y'all just need to take the money that you made, go invest it, and let somebody else get a chance to make some money so we don't have 10 billionaires and a bunch of other people making $30,000 a year.
Yeah.
I don't know if that Jerry Jones example was the best one because that was before the salary cap. And what has he done lately? He ain't been the best.
He's still creating teams over here, though, and we aren't in trouble with our finances like the Rams are, and many other teams are. We are in control of our finances. Whether the teams work out or not, that is not because of who we bring to the team, because we can get players on the Cowboys team. It's just we didn't have a coach, and he didn't want to let go of our coach. Things are changing now.
But that was still Jerry's fault, though. That's all I'm
Jerry's
saying.
fault, but he can put together a team and run the finances very well.
Before we jump off this, I just wanted to add to the players thing, because I think Britt just made a great point too that I figured you were going to say. I agree, but I think people want to see the stars as the guys in the front, like you guys were saying, Kevin Durant. I think that Britt is right where you should leave it to the dudes that know the actual job, or you like the Nazir Muhammad's, the Phil Jacksons, the some of the guys that you didn't know in the NBA career. I feel like those are the kind of guys that can do the job semi okay. So I don't know.
You like Phil Jackson with the Knicks?
You know what? I was more on the coaching side. I wasn't talking about. I guess that is the front office thing. Yeah. You know what? Let's just move on to the next.
Yeah.
One.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
try.
You try.
I would. Yeah. You're right. Phil, I don't know why I said his name. Oh my God, Phil Jackson.
I was like, Phil.
Yeah, I said Phil. Yeah. Oh my God.
Let's get into the final news story. This one has a lot of stats and numbers. So the Stillman School of Business released a poll showing that 3 out of 4 Americans plan to stay at home and avoid sporting events until there's a vaccine developed for the coronavirus. So 72% of the participants said they wouldn't attend a game under any circumstance. 13% answered that they would, but only if social distancing measures are in place. And 12% said they'd return to games as normal even without a vaccine. So the poll consisted of 762 Americans, and it's the first of its kind to directly deal with how the world or how our country feels about sporting events in the wake of the coronavirus. A possible vaccine for coronavirus likely won't be available until 2021 at the earliest, and the respondents of the poll seem to understand that. 74% of the people said it was likely or very likely that sporting events would be canceled for the remainder of the year, and that's something that a lot of the leagues have not even committed to yet. So I'm curious, at what point would you all attend a live sporting event? Chris, what are your thoughts?
I think I'm with that. I want the game to be back, but I think for me to go to a game, just being in groups with people, I don't know if I'm ready to do that until there's some sort of control. So I think I'd be in that percentage of waiting for some kind of vaccine or knowing that we have it somewhat under control. But yeah, I'm in no rush to go back to any games. I'm rushed to see them, but not go back to any games for sure.
Well, speaking of seeing them, would you guys watch games on TV with as much excitement as you had been if there are no fans in the stand? Do you think that affects your viewing experience from your living room or from the bar, wherever you are? Britt or Jackie, I could see you were about to start talking, so tell me what you're thinking.
No, it wouldn't affect me at all. At this point, maybe earlier on in this scenario, I was very much like LeBron, I don't want to see games without fans, because you like to see the fans' reaction. I think we still play that kid from when the Notre Dame game that looked like he was going to cry for the rest of his life. Stuff like that you enjoy seeing. But now we're so far into it that I'm like, I don't give a damn who's there. I just need to see some sports. So I don't care at all.
Yeah. Totally. Well, you guys, that wraps up the top story segment. It's all the questions that I've got for you. So, Chris, can you take us into the post-up? Oh, wait.
Oh, we can't hear you.
Got the post-up? Quarantine vision, my bad. We're starting off with football and with the Cowboys, and pretty much Dez Bryant being Dez Bryant, because people can say what they want to say, but he ain't never gonna care what they have to say. Anyways, that being said, we have somebody who works for Pro Football Talk. His name is Mike Florio, and he called in and he is frustrated and upset about the fact that Dez Bryant is just out here working out with Dak and all these other players and stuff like that, and doesn't even give a care about what's going on with the coronavirus. How dare he? He called in and he said, if you got players who are violating the local laws that say thou shalt stay home, this is what he said, thou shalt stay home during this pandemic, and they are both creating a real risk of spreading the virus and sending a horrible message to others who may be influenced to do the same thing, I would like to see the NFL do something. Basically, he's saying that he continue to say that he wants the NFL to take action on the Cowboys for allowing Dak Prescott, their quarterback, to go out there and just completely not give one care about the social distancing rules and stuff like that. Although I semi-agree, not on the finding stuff. I do agree that, they should have, the picture wasn't a great idea, but at the same time, like, football, they're wearing gloves and stuff like that, whatever, move on. But Dez definitely does not care because he tweeted back to these comments about possibly seeing the Cowboys get fined and stuff like that. He said, either way, I have a whole workout facility at home and a field on the side of my house. I'm going to get it in regardless, and he signed it off with X. I love it. I want to see. I hope, because we're talking about NBA players working out and stuff like that. I just feel like, if they can work out while also exercising the social distancing and being smart about the situation, I don't see why not. Especially when they're in the field, it's not like they're in a closer space. So I'm okay with it. I co-sign it. Just didn't like the picture because it was not a good look knowing what we're going through right now. But I we can't go to anybody else before we go to Miss Britt Johnson. I asked the question to you. Do you think that Dez should be bothered by any of this? And do you think that there should be action taken on the Cowboys for allowing players to break the law? I say
actually, like if you actually look at a lot of the football players right now, they are working out in gyms with other people. Like, that's happening across the board. Obviously, the Dak thing just only made news because it was with Dez and they took a close picture together. Other than that, you don't really need to be on somebody's butt to freaking be working out with them and throwing them passes from 15 plus yards away, okay? Like, that is practicing social distancing, and they're doing it perfectly fine. All the videos that Dez has posted since then, he's literally just running routes and stuff like that, which Jackie doesn't believe that he can do well, so he's practicing those right now, okay?
Good job.
Running his route, and you don't need to be anywhere near your quarterback to do that. So I think it's perfectly fine that they're working out. Some of them are even in the same gyms and stuff, but everything that Dez has been posting, he's been out in, like you said, open fields and stuff like that. I don't see what the big problem is. There's a lot of air. There's circulating around. They're not in some confined space. Like, I don't see anything wrong with this. The only part that was the problem was the picture. And they've all learned since then, and everything everybody's been posting since then, they've made sure they've been like a distance apart from each other. And I think that's totally fine. They're playing football. They have gloves on. I literally don't see any issue with this.
Yep. I agree. Devin, I throw it to you. So then, with these workouts, are you fine seeing players? Especially, I'm gonna strictly talk about NFL right now, because we are seeing a lot of other videos. We're seeing like Antonio Brown and Lamar Jackson. We're seeing all these guys working out. Are you cool with them working out? And do you think this is okay border of practicing social distancing as well as trying to stay ready for their craft? How you feel about this whole thing?
Gosh, I don't know. It's hard for me to say because I'm such a paranoid person. So I've been.
That's why I went to you. That is why I went to you.
But okay. So I think if they're practicing outside, like Britt was saying, there's a bunch of space between them. They're not interacting. Maybe it would be okay. I would be thinking about the football having germs on it. That would be where my mind is going. But also, I think working out in a gym is an entirely different thing, and maybe that is kind of going against the social distancing rules. For me personally, if I were one of them, I'd want to be working out alone, but I know that obviously makes it more difficult, so that's where I stand on it. I think outside, if you're separated, fine. In a gym is pushing it.
Jackie?
I mean, I just don't, and I would love, if any of you guys are psychologists or your parents are psychologists, I would just love, I don't know how long we can actually pull this off. You know what I mean? Like, I get it that we're supposed to be practicing social distancing, but I've gone from getting irritated at the group of people who gather outside of my home every morning to take a walk to thinking, you know what, damn it, I'm going to join them tomorrow. Because it's just, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how long we can pull this off. And to have an opportunity to get together, somewhat like Britt said, you don't need to be all up on each other. Yes, the picture is whatever, but, you'd also have to assume the person that you're playing with has it or it's been exposed to it, and if you don't think that's the case, then you're probably going to let your guard down a little bit. So I don't think it was bad at all. I'm glad that they were practicing, and like Britt said, Des needs to practice his damn routes.
She couldn't let him out that. She cannot let him out.
What you said, or piggyback off what you said, Jackie, so originally when I was in college, I was a psychology major, so I did take a couple classes, and one of them was talking about if people aren't physically like around other people and like surrounded with like love or whatever, any diseases that they have or whatever, they become sicker because of that. You know, like, and there's literally tons of studies that show that like being around people, if you leave like a baby animal by itself without the parent, it is tending to die sooner or whatever than if they're like with a loved one or whatever. And some people are lucky enough to like the James family to have like a family around them, but some people aren't married. Like Serge Ibaka was talking about, they aren't married, they don't have any kids or whatever, so they're just kind of sitting duck by themselves at home. And you can see families in their backyards throwing around footballs or whatever. Like, of course, at some point, people are going to want to, you know, be around each other a little bit and do it in a safe way, and they have their gloves on or whatever. They're throwing around football. Everyone washes their hands after the fact. So, like, it's only natural for people to want to be connected to other people in some way or form, you know, and especially athletes, they want to be around football. You know, this is the time where they would, like, come together and, like, start playing together or just throwing around a football. And if they're doing it safely as best they can, I literally believe what Jack says. At some point, we're going to have to get to that point where it's like, it's okay to kind of be around somebody as long as you are practicing, you know, wearing face masks or wearing whatever you have to do or whatever. But we can't literally sit by ourselves in our house for the next 6 months. That's just not anything that should or could technically happen. People are probably going to go crazy. That's why solitary confinement is considered to be one of the worst things to do to somebody. It's torture because people are not supposed to be sitting by themselves with nobody else around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I feel like of all the sports, I think football is one of the few that you can do it, practice it, and also control, you know, spreading it. Just because, like Dan was saying with the football, a lot of the time the guys are really the only person probably touching the ball is the quarterback. So as long as he knows, everyone else. Well, some quarterbacks, I know Drew don't wear gloves, but yeah, some quarterbacks wear gloves and stuff like that. And, you know, if he's the only one touching it, he should know not to touch his face and stuff like that. After he's done, hand sanitize, wash it, boom, boom. I think it's something that they can easily control. It's just the picture was the only thing. Anyways, moving off of that, Des, do what you do, dog. Get that work in and get back on the field. Moving on to the next one, you know, I can't have a post up without talking about hair because it's just a struggle out here. The hat has been on 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row. But it's okay. Hopefully over the weekend I can clean it up and we'll be back. But anyways, Steph Curry. Now, as everybody's saying in the chat, man, look at Steph, man. He is out here with a fresh new cut. And Damian Lillard needs answers. He needs to know the plug. He saw him on the live, saw him with the cut, and Dame commented in his chat saying, bruh, how you get a haircut, LOL. And I gotta know too, because we literally just saw him FaceTime with somebody else 2 days ago, and he was looking rough, you know, the beard and the hair was all over the place, and now he got a fresh, you know, looking like he's ready for the NBA Finals cut. So Dame Lillard needs some answers, and we got to get some answers to Damian Lillard, and I would like some answers too. If I have to fly up to the Bay, I'll make the trip. I got a few days, and I'll come back in time for the Fumble on Monday. Let me know.
Don't fly, please. You can drive out there. There's no traffic right now.
You're right.
Giant Petri dish. It's a giant.
You're so right. You're so right. Yeah, we're enough. Yeah, you're right. No traffic. Moving on to the next one. Now, this one we talked about pre-show. People have sent me the tweet. This tweet has had a lot of people confused, but I think I figured it out. Okay, other than it just being a stupid tweet, I think I figured out the wavelengths that Jordan Clarkson. Ever since that TikTok, I've had a little bit more respect for Jordan Clarkson. I think I'm on the wavelength with you, Jordan. So basically, yesterday he just tweeted this thing out saying, "Is it me or everybody's birthday this year?" Now here, think about it, guys. Wait. Wait.
My guy.
Guys. Normally you look at this like, duh, but no, it's not a duh. This year's a leap year. This year we have the 29th. So officially,
okay.
Jordan Clarkson.
Okay, Jordan.
Everybody right now. So I'm just Jordan Clarkson, man. You getting points in my book. I used to not be a fan, but after that TikTok, he out here dropping insightful tweets that he probably wasn't even thinking about, and I just helped him out with that. But it's a leap year this year. So I actually have a friend who just had a daughter born on the 29th. So I told her, I told him, I'm like, yo, every time she sees Uncle Chris, I'm gonna be that guy where I'm not gonna celebrate her birthday until the 29th comes up. I'm gonna be that guy. So
when she's 4.
Right.
So on the 28th, I'm like, I don't know why we're here. It's not your birthday. I'm gonna be that guy. But yeah. So look, see, it's like that. It's like the GIF. See?
You did it.
Yeah.
I got you, Jordan. Anyways, moving on to the next one. We got Trae Young. We got some. Oh boy, we got some 2K drama. Okay, now Trae Young was playing against DeAndre Ayton yesterday in the 2K tournament round 2, and they did the Battle of LA. We had Trae Young using the Lakers and DeAndre Ayton used the Clippers. Now, it was a dope game. It was a fun game. They were actually talking. It was cool. It was a lot of fun. It was back and forth throughout the entire game until DeAndre Ayton and the Clippers pulled out in the end to beat Trae Young.
Hey, that's going to be the finals. Or Western Conference Finals.
Yeah, it might be because it was a good game. It was of all the games we watched, that was actually a good game along with them talking to. So yeah, but Trae Young seemed like he was a bit upset about it. Now at first when I saw these tweets and everything, I thought he was going at Ronnie, but no, I just think Trae is just joining the rage club because he tweeted out "damn 2K" with the side looking emoji. And as I said when we first mentioned this, Ronnie 2K had picked Trae Young to be his favorite, so he responded to Trae with that. Go back to the GIF with the Adam Sandler, you blew it. But Trae wasn't having that because he responded to that saying, nah, technically you did. And he put technically in quotes because I think he's talking about the game. Because I don't know how Ronnie 2K, and I say my piece about Ronnie 2K, but Ronnie 2K is literally just a yes man, rah man. He can't do the actual stuff that's going on with the game. So he's a little salty. Trae Young is a little salty about the loss. I tried to see if there was something where he got, played in the game, but he really didn't. DeAndre Ayton just got him. PG went off in the fourth. I don't know what else to say. So I know now you guys don't really care too much about 2K, but I gotta ask you, when you see these tweets, are we adding Trae Young to the rage quit corner with Tyrann Mathieu or not yet?
Oh, not yet.
Because he didn't quit.
Yeah, and he didn't quit. But I do think after all this quarantine is said and done, Ronnie 2K is going to be probably one of the most hated guys in the world because every week there's something that he's doing that's just like, it's just bringing his stock down. And already Chris said a lot of the 2K people didn't like him, and this is just adding fuel to the fire.
Right now, 2K, look, fire Ronnie 2K. Look, I'm telling you, this is a real thing. Like, you go on Twitter and you just search Ronnie 2K fired, and you'll see it's crazy. It's crazy. Right. But yeah, Trae Young pouted a little bit and got beat. It's okay, man. My boy Devin Booker's still in the thing, so we good. Moving on, this is my favorite. I have two more pieces for you guys, and I'm so excited because I laughed when I saw these. But we have Chicago just living their best life. Okay, so we know that when you go to restaurants and stuff like that, you can do pickup, you can do delivery, but you can't dine in, you can't eat in the restaurant, whatnot. But when you do pickup, you go to the place, and normally they'll have X's so you can stand, so you can practice social distancing, so you're not next to the person waiting for your food. So in Chicago, I think it's a pizza spot, maybe it's not a pizza spot, but this restaurant has a note on the table in the front of the restaurant.
Oh, I saw this.
That they need to be exercising social distancing with this corona. It says, during this coronavirus outbreak, remember to remain at least 10 feet away from others. If you're wondering how far that is, picture a Bears wide receiver and then imagine where Trubisky actually threw the pass. The distance is about 10 feet. Basically saying that Trubisky is not accurate, and it's good to see Chicago laughing at themselves, and this guy's probably like a diehard Bears fan that just cannot stand Trubisky, so he took the opportunity to take a shot at him, and his tweet got picked up by Bleacher Report, so Mitch, I'm sure, saw it, and it's probably in his feelings, and maybe we'll get a Joel Embiid, thanks, one of those kind of things we see that maybe we'll see. But it doesn't stop there because it went all the way up to the mayor of Chicago. She is the GOAT. Now, there are memes of her, like that picture, and then there's memes all around. But she shared this meme that you're looking at right now on her official Twitter account. And you see the meme says, your jump shot is always going to be weak, so stay out the parks. But I love her tweet that she put with it saying, just a friendly reminder from your auntie to stay home. Hashtag stay home, save lives.
I love Mayor Lightfoot.
Yes.
Out killing the game. Michael Jordan might have to watch out, man. I know you run Chicago, but look, man,
He's
the
king, she might be the queen now.
Right.
You know, like that is so freaking funny because I saw a meme of her earlier today, and it was just like, "Oh, barber shops when you or hair shops when you're about to open."
Right?
Yeah. No, and then like for her to like jump on one, I'm like, this is epic. I love it. I love it.
That is
top
cute.
notch. Yeah, shout out to Mary Lightfoot.
Getting reelected.
Yeah, right.
For sure.
Yeah, she's in there. Anyway, see, lighthearted again. I got you. Okay, Jackie, go right back.
Look at you, twice in a row.
After that one day, I felt bad, so I ain't gonna do that again.
As you should have. All right, guys, let's get to these WTF moments. This first one is for you baseball fans out there because it looks like the Major League Baseball is like, okay, we understand what's going on, but we still want to proceed. They are trying to think of new ideas. One of the ideas is to basically condense the two divisions, I guess, and they want to eliminate the traditional American and National Leagues for 2020 and realign the 6 divisions into an abbreviated season. So they'll have all 30 teams returning to their spring break facilities in Florida and in Arizona, and they will play in those 2 states only for the regular season, and they'll do it without the fans. So the goal, obviously, to minimize travel and any kind of risk. So the 2 divisions would be the Cactus League and the Grapefruit League. And this whole thing is kind of weird to me. So let me break it down. So for example, right now in the American League East, you have the Blue Jays, Red Sox, Orioles, Yankees, and the Rays. So with the way they're going to do it now, in the Grapefruit League, you'll have the Toronto Blue Jays and the New York Yankees are still in the same division. But the division would also include the Philadelphia Phillies, who are the National League East, the Detroit Tigers, which are the American League Central, and the Pittsburgh Pirates, which are the National League Central. So basically, the divisions are going to be realigned based on the location of their spring break facilities. So, Britt, I have to go to you because I know you're a huge baseball fan. So how do you feel about this realignment? Is it a good thing, bad thing?
This better not happen. Like, obviously, we talked about it last week, like about, you know, maybe just going to the Arizona and Florida, like, spring ball locations and just doing games there. But, like, no, you are not making a grapefruit and a cactus league. And you are not separating people that are used to be in the same, like, divisions or whatever. And you're not crossing American and National because they have different rules. Like, one has designated hitters, the other one doesn't. There's so many little things that they do completely different that are literally going to, if you were just trying to do this for one season, it's going to mess up the league in general. Mm-hmm. World Series is going to be totally different. Like, you just can't mess this up. Like, don't do that. That is, like, it's disgusting is what it is, okay? I don't want to see it. I want to hear about it. Don't even try it. Like, yes, we love that you're trying to get back to baseball. I want baseball to come back as well. They're still holding on to my couple $100 that I kind of going to need soon for my opening season ticket, but I don't want to see this. I don't want to see it happen like this.
Well, I think it's better than the buying an island idea, which is what the UFC was trying to do. But big surprise there, that's also not going to happen because they have now decided the whole buying an island thing is not a good thing. And they're saying it's because Disney/ESPN have asked them not to do it. So they took to Twitter and posted this that says, while the organization was fully prepared to proceed with UFC 249, ESPN has requested the postponement of the event and subsequent bouts until further notice in light of COVID-19 pandemic. UFC looks forward to resuming the full live event schedule as soon as possible. So, in truth, what really happened is ESPN was like, nah, man, we're not going to air that. And then Rose pulled out of a fight because she actually lost 2 family members. They died because of the coronavirus. So she was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. And then the California Senator, Dianne Feinstein, she issued a statement and asked Dana White specifically, can you please not do this? So he's trying to blame it on ESPN and Disney, but basically ESPN was like, bruh, I don't know what you're doing, but we're not supporting this. You need to stand down. And so that's what happened. Are you guys surprised? Chris, are you surprised at this at all?
No, I love that he's still trying to fight the power as if Disney's the crazy one out here. That's the funniest part of this whole thing. Like, I was going to do it. Like, we were so going to do it, but Disney, these guys wouldn't let me buy an island. Like, that, I find that hilarious. That's great.
Oh, my goodness. Devin, what do you think?
I mean, I'm not surprised by it either. I have no words. I mean, I'm just not. This isn't a shock to me at all.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he took the route that he went. I would have appreciated him saying, you know what, we tried it. We really wanted to keep things going. It was a bad idea, y'all. Ha ha. Just kidding. Like, just own your stuff one time, you know?
Or go the other route and pull a late April Fool's, like, you guys believed when I said that? You guys are so dumb. I got all of you guys. I don't know. That's
hilarious. All right, but that's all I got for WTF moments this Friday. So let's get into Brit's takes. Yay!
Hey, what's up? It is time for Brit's takes, and it is April 10th, y'all. Rent is late. It is past due. Okay, so Todd Gurley and Clay Matthews need their money from a little team called the Los Angeles Rams. So the Rams got issues with some of their former players. Running back Todd Gurley was actually released from the team in March, and he has, as of this week, signed with the Atlanta Falcons. He will be joining them. At the time that he was released from the Rams, though, he actually had $10.5 million guaranteed that they had left to pay him. So even though he's released, they still got to pay him his money, but obviously they wanted him off the books going forward for the future season, so they could, get some other guys. So they still owe him the $10.5 million, but it's not on their books as far as like their signings for this upcoming season, right? So they paid him apparently about $3 million of that already. He's still waiting on his money, and I don't know about y'all, but we in a pandemic right now, so people are like, "Hey, run me my money. If you owe me money from last year, I need my money now." Okay, so he needs his money right now. He actually went to Twitter and posted this and said, at Rams, he added them and said, "Past due, send me my money ASAP." His former teammate, Clay Matthews, who was also released in March, actually is owed money too. And so he just kind of piggybacked on that and said, "Hey, me too. I need my money too, guys. Like, my turn too." And so a former Rams quarterback from way, way back in the day decided to comment on the tweet and write this: "Players, this is not what to do on social media. Better idea. Call your agent. Let them handle it, because that's what you pay them for. Hashtag petty. Hashtag disappointed. Hashtag players play." Woo! Oh, no, he did not. No, he did not try to, do a little clap back to these guys who are just wanting their money that they are owed by the Rams organization. And then say players play. Like, this ain't a professional sport that they're trying to do and actually make money from. This is a business. We always talk about NFL, NBA, MLB. It's a business, okay? If a team is paid a player to do something and that player don't do something, the player gets cut, okay? And they don't owe the player any more money, hence Antonio Brown. But when you come in situations where, wait, I did my job last year. I was on the team. I didn't do anything wrong. I wasn't fined for, doing drugs or doing any kind of, I did my job. Y'all released me, but y'all still owe me money. So for that situation to come across, and then an old player that has never played with any of these guys wants to come and jump in the conversation and literally, "Oh no, players play. Y'all need to go have your." I'm sure that he's already had his agent reach out. I'm sure that has already happened. I'm sure this is a last resort, because you guys know when all of us has had an issue with some. I don't know whether it's Netflix or you had Amazon didn't get your order right, and then you try to talk to customer service and they don't want to help you out, and then you tweet about it, and then all of a sudden your situation's taken care of because it's out in the public eye now. So I think that's what it got to, because I think he definitely already had his agent reach out. I think they definitely already tried to do that, and it hasn't worked out, because not only was it Todd Gurley, Clay Matthews has had the same problem. It is two players. This literally reminds me of the time when people were talking about Le'Veon Bell's money. He had his teammates in there, in his business, in his pockets. I do not think players need to be talking about other players' pockets like that. You don't need to be worried about who's paying him and what money he's getting. That is none of your business to come out and say anything about it. He is owed that money, and so they should pay him that money. It is not your time to be like, "Oh, well, players playing, you need to do this. You don't need to tell that man what he needs to do. You ain't been in the league in 20-something odd years. You don't need to be talking to anybody about their money and what they're getting in their pocket, okay? Period. Especially during this time where he probably needs the money to help out some family members, and the Rams owe him that money from last year. This isn't new money that he's being owed, and this isn't potential like, oh, can I get some money now? Like, can I get it a little early? No, this is money that he was owed last year. Y'all released him, and you guys owe him this money. Like, how dare another former player or anybody else try to come in and talk about somebody else's pockets and what should be in it and shouldn't be in it? So my question to y'all is, are players literally out of pocket for speaking on other players' money? I'll start with Jackie.
Everybody's out of pocket for speaking on somebody else's money. Because, I mean, like, you know what I mean? Don't speak on my money. If no, I'm just getting angry thinking about it.
Girl, I
right. I'm like, let me take a, like, because I went through, it's just like you said, I went through something similar recently with Fair Car. That's where I rent my car from. And they literally owe me $900. And they did not give me my money until I tweeted it. And then when I tweeted it, 3 other people were like, oh, I'll never work with Fair. And then I get a text that says your check is in the mail.
Wow.
Sometimes you have to go public because people will be like, they'll string you along. And the longer they string you along, the more they think you're less likely to say something. Then when you go public and then other people have to co-sign it, and then it's another person over here that said, oh, yeah, they did that to me too. Now you really on blast. So no, don't ever comment on somebody else's money, because players players are supposed to play and get paid. Finish the sentence. That's just not how it goes. Play and get paid.
Can I add something? I feel like if the Rams are withholding money that they owe, well, they obviously are. So since they are withholding this money that they owe these athletes, don't they kind of deserve to be publicly ousted for that? That's how I feel.
Yes.
You best believe that they did have their agents talk to them. Exactly like what you were saying.
Devin just say best believe?
Is that weird?
No. And you used it in the right context. No. Right. Devin, you did. No.
Yeah. High five, Devin. You did that. You did that.
You're saying a lot.
I have never heard her say that. Have you?
Say that. When I literally looked, because I was like, Devin's mouth is moving. That's like something like Jackie or somebody would say.
Devin went in.
I love it. Chris, what are your thoughts on it?
Look, man, it's simple. They signed a contract. They're supposed to be getting paid a certain amount of money. They know when you cut a player before the contract is ended. I understand the dates and the times and this and the blah, 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 blah. There's still money supposed to go in my bank account. I expect the money to come in my bank account. As for Jim Everett, yeah, he needs to step down. Like, yeah, who are you to talk about the money I'm supposed to be on? If they did, which I highly doubt, like you guys all said, if they did go to social media before they went to the agents, okay, come on, y'all, that's not the way to do it, even though they should still say something out loud. But I guarantee that's not the case. I guarantee that the agents are already
over a month ago now. Like
Exactly. So yeah, all I gotta say, the moral of the fumble, or the motto of the fumble, Jim, say less, my guy. Let them get their money and leave them alone.
Right.
Oh, Britt, were you going to add something else?
No, I was not. I was like, this is the first time we finished Britt's take before. We usually go overtime. I know. We go way overtime. Well, let's all agree. Try. Pay the man his money.
Yeah.
Don't say anything about it.
Yes.
Well, let's talk about what we're going to be all doing this weekend. So, Britt, do you have any big quarantine plans?
Well, this weekend is Resurrection Sunday, so I will probably get in my Sunday's best and sit on the couch and watch my pastor preach from the couch. But I'm gonna dress up because I already had my Easter outfit ready, so I'm gonna put it on. Okay, so I'm getting dressed up on Sunday, and then I'll probably do a little brunch with my friends after on Zoom or something.
Nice. Chris, what are you doing this weekend? Playing more 2K?
Finishing Ozark. Definitely. 100%. Streaming, so I'll be playing 2K. But no, finishing Ozark, that is the number one thing for me and the lady to do. We're so excited.
Today.
Yeah, we're on season 3, so we're starting that tonight, tomorrow. But yeah, that's about it. That's about it. Don't say anything, Britt. We'll talk about it on Monday.
No, yeah, like I just started I'm going to start season 3 tonight.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah, we're like at the same place. So like maybe I'll just text you at some point, like, oh my gosh, what episode are you on? And we'll talk about it. Yeah.
Jackie, what are you doing this weekend?
So I'm doing something similar to Britt. I'm one of those Easter, Christmas, Mother Day churchgoers now. So my mom and I, if I can get her, she doesn't like to learn new technology, and so if I can get her to do Skype or Zoom, then we're gonna get dressed up and then watch her preacher together online, and then tomorrow I'm doing online karaoke. That's because we try to do a happy hour thing every Saturday, so I'm going to do online karaoke. And I'm going to try to finish that first episode of Ozark because that is a horrible first episode. Yeah, because I watched like 2-3 minutes. I'm like, this is some bull. Then I
get through it, girl. It's worth it. Get through it, girl. It's so worth it.
Yeah,
I'm going to try, and then I'm going to try to catch up so then I can get in this group chat because I feel left out.
Oh, I also have like an online date this weekend.
Oh, get it, girl! Get it! Hey!
Jack just got mad. They're like, what?
Okay, so I think this weekend I'm gonna start. I've watched one season of Ozark. Started season 2 like a year ago. Wasn't that into it, so I'll start season 2 again, and I'll.
They'll do a recap, so you'll be okay. If you already watched it, they'll do a recap before season 2 starts. So don't rewatch season 1. Just go right in season 2. You'll be okay.
Yeah.
You'll remember.
So it's going to be an Ozark weekend across the board for everybody.
Yep.
Got you.
Exactly. And I think
next weekend, I just want to say, next Friday, we will have a thing where we can say, guess what? This weekend, we're going to watch Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Like, we are so close.
I'm so hyped.
So close.
So hyped.
Yay!
So hyped.
Also, I saw some people in here talking about who they would want to be quarantined with because we did this all yesterday.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Dope Fresh says Michael Jordan, LeBron, and Iverson. We have Austin who wants to be quarantined with # King James. So those are some interesting people. Someone said they want to be quarantined with Flight Reacts. We have somebody who wants to.
Somebody said LMA. They want to be quarantined with LMA.
Hey, who said that?
Boot up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go ahead, Sean. I see you.
Yeah.
Daniel is the only one who gave us all 5 people. So he says Jordan, LeBron, Shaq, Bill Russell, and Wilt. So that would be a house full.
Old dudes, man. Hey, man, I don't know.
Man, old dudes, when they get mad, though, they are the best. I don't know. That might have
They get a little too senile. I don't know.
When they get mad. Yeah, that's true.
You gotta have a mix of young and old.
Right.
You gotta have a mix.
Otherwise, your TikTok is just going to look weird.
That's all right.
Exactly.
I'll let y'all know what's going on with Gilbert and LeVar in my house. I'm telling you, man. Memes galore. It's going to be comedy.
Right?
Oh, gosh.
Each report's going to love my house. Oh, yeah.
That LeVar, honestly, that would be too much, Chris. I don't know how you're going to do it.
Oh, man.
It doesn't end up happening.
I will be I'll be the instigator for sure.
Did Trez win yesterday in 2K?
He did.
Okay.
He did.
Okay. Gotta make sure my guy.